This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome back to Energy Management. We're diving into Chapter 4 today, and it's all about protecting your mental energy by mastering the art of deep, focused work. We'll explore how to shield your attention from distractions and create the conditions for your brain to do its best thinking. Let's get into it. Your brain can burn through about a fifth of your body's energy even when you're just answering email. Now drop yourself into a day of nonstop pings, meetings, and open tabs. You feel busy every minute, yet your most important project never really moves. Why? Cal Newport calls it deep work. Long stretches of undiluted focus on a single, cognitively demanding task. But most days, your schedule is engineered for the opposite. The average knowledge worker checks email 77 times and uses 10-plus apps a day. That's not a personal failing. It's an environment designed to splinter attention. The cost is measurable. A study from UC Irvine found that once interrupted, it takes about 23 minutes to return to full focus. Multiply that by a dozen interruptions and you've effectively deleted hours of high-quality thinking time without noticing. Here's the shift. Instead of trying to squeeze in important work around messages and meetings, you'll design your day around 60 to 120-minute focus blocks and let everything else fit in the margins. In this episode, you'll learn how to protect those blocks, prove their value with data, and make them a default, not an exception. Your brain's not just fighting distractions, it's managing fuel. Functional MRI studies show that rapid task switching burns more glucose in the prefrontal cortex without increasing output. That's why a day of small tasks can leave you oddly exhausted. Meanwhile, time-tracking data from tools like Rescue Time show that people rarely get more than 60 to 90 consecutive minutes on a single task. Add in the 28 to 33% of work hours lost to email and chat, and it's clear. Deep focus isn't just a habit problem, it's a systems problem. You'll fix it by redesigning 3 levers: time, tools, and environment. Deep attention is a logistics problem. You're allocating scarce cognitive resources across competing demands. Start by quantifying those demands. Take a typical 8-hour workday. If 2.5 hours go to email and IM, the 28 to 33% range, another 2 hours to meetings, and at least 1 hour to admin, forms, scheduling, status updates, you've already spent 5.5 plus hours on low to medium intensity work. That leaves, at best, 2 to 2.5 hours for anything that requires real concentration, and that's before interruptions. So instead of vaguely trying to focus more, you'll assign your sharpest mental slots to your hardest problems. Research on circadian rhythms and chronotypes shows that about 75 to 80% of people hit their cognitive peak within roughly 2 to 4 hours of waking, and then again in a smaller bump later in the day. If you burn that first peak in reactive work, you're effectively doing your most important thinking with your second-best brain. Here's a concrete structure that fits inside most knowledge work schedules. 1 90-minute deep block during your natural peak. 1 60-minute deep block later in the day. 2 25-minute shallow sprints for email and admin. Meetings batched into 1 to 2 clusters instead of scattered. To make this real, you'll constrain inputs. That means turning off non-critical notifications for the 90 and 60-minute blocks, using Do Not Disturb on your calendar, and pushing email into those 2 sprints instead of always on. It also means simplifying your tools. Each additional open app is a potential context switch. For a coding session, for example, you might allow only your editor, documentation, and a single browser window with a capped number of tabs, say 5. For writing, 1 document and 1 reference manager. Think of your attention like a touring musician's voice on a long run of shows. The pros don't sing at full volume all day. They plan their sets, protect their recovery, and save peak effort for the moments that count most. You'll do the same with your mental energy. Design for 2 to 3 intentional sets of hard thinking and treat everything else as support, not competition, for that work. At a product team at Shopify, a manager ran a 4-week focus sprint with 12 engineers. They carved out 2 times 90-minute blocks, 4 days a week, for their most complex tickets. They also capped Slack checks to 3 windows, 11:30, 14:30, 16:30. Bug resolution time for P1 issues dropped from a median of 14 hours to 9.5 hours, and the team closed 18% more story points without adding overtime. You can treat your calendar the same way. Take a single high-stakes deliverable, a report, prototype, or client deck. Estimate it needs 6 hours of deep attention. Instead of finding time, pre-book 4 90-minute sessions over 7 days. In each, define a narrow sub-goal: outline only, draft section A only, revise data only, polish visuals only. Track 2 numbers: minutes spent in uninterrupted focus and concrete output, pages written, test cases completed, slides finished. After 1 week, compare this to a similar project you tackled without this structure. The contrast in both speed and mental fatigue is usually stark. By 2030, companies that treat attention as infrastructure will redesign a full workday. Expect norms like 3 to 4 hours of day of meeting-free maker time, 2 meetings back-to-back, and explicit no-Slack focus windows. Early pilots at large firms already show 20 to 40% faster project throughput when teams adopt shared deep work blocks. Your edge: practice these habits now so when tools auto-schedule around your ideal focus patterns, you're already operating at that higher standard. Treat this as a data experiment. For the next 10 workdays, log 1 metric: minutes of planned focus versus minutes actually protected. Aim for a 60% kept promise rate at first, then push towards 75%. Over a month, that's roughly 30 extra high-value hours, enough to ship an MVP, write a 20-page brief, or close 3 to 5 stuck projects. Here's your challenge this week. Block off 1 90-minute deep work session every day for the next 5 days, scheduled at the same time, and protect it like a meeting with your boss. No phone, no email, no tabs open except what you need for the task. Before each session starts, choose one cognitively demanding task, like writing a report, coding a feature, or designing a presentation, and commit to working only on that. During the session, every time you feel the urge to check something, email, messages, social media, put a tally mark on a sticky note instead of giving in, and keep going. At the end of the week, count your tallies and decide one distraction you'll deliberately remove from your next week's deep work sessions. This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. This series continues with more chapters on OwlUp.co. Visit OwlUp.co to access the complete course and continue your learning journey. See you there!